Hey guys, Mark here from Rainies.com, and today we're comparing the newly released Sony WH-1000XM3 to last year's model, the Sony WH-1000XM2. Now the changes to the XM3 are much more noticeable than the upgrade to the XM2 from the original MDR1000X. This makes the XM3 stand out from the rest of the series for its looks, but how do they compare to the XM2 sound and feature-wise? And is the noise cancellation as good or better than the previous model? And are they good enough to dethrone the Bose QuietComfort 35-2 as the best noise-canceling over-ear headphones that we've tested so far? Well, in this review, we'll be comparing the design, sound quality, and isolation, which you'll get to hear for yourself a bit later on in the video, as well as the active features and connection options. But for now, let's start with what's in the box. For what's in the box, it's about the same content for both headphones. So for the 1000XM2, you have a 1.8 TRS audio cable, a micro USB charging cable, an airline adapter, the manuals, and a carrying case. It's about the same for the 1000XM3, so a 1.8 TRS audio cable, a USB Type-C charging cable, an airline adapter, the manuals, and a slightly different case with a fabric finish instead of the pleather coating of the XM2. And that's pretty much it. Now let's get the boxes out of the way and compare the design. Build quality-wise, the XM3 are a bit better than the XM2, although not by much. The XM3 have a different look and feel to the XM2 with a thinner, two-tone headband that seems taken right off the Bose lineup. Comparing them side by side, you can see the similarities in the headband design. However, Sony does keep the same oval and touch-sensitive ear cups that define the WH-1000 series. This seems like the best of both worlds, as the new headband has a lower profile that fits the contours of your head much better than the WH-1000XM2. The XM3 are also lighter than the XM2 and have cool accents around the vents and the Sony logo, which looks pretty great. The hinges or yokes have a similar design to the XM2, which may also be prone to cracking under strain, but the XM2 in general had much less reports of broken headbands than the original MDR1000X, and we still have ours, which gets used a lot in the office and is still intact, so the XM3 should be durable enough. On the other hand, the XM2 design does look a bit more premium than the XM3. The headband especially was a metal frame that would show much less wear and tear over time than the new pleather-covered headband design of the XM3. The metal headband also gave the XM2 a sleek look that felt unique to the series, but the new design works too. We would have loved to stress test the headband and the yokes of the XM3, but it has to be a test that's applicable across all headphones. So for now, we'll continue to monitor the forums and discussion threads for any major defects with the headband that might warrant a score change, until we have a cost-effective way to test for durability across all headphones. As for comfort, here the XM3 have the upper hand. The XM3 have thicker and better pads than the XM2, which makes them one of the more comfortable wireless over-ears that we've tested. This gives them a better fit around most ears, and you should be able to wear them for longer than the XM2 without feeling any fatigue or soreness. They're lighter than the XM2 by about 20 grams, so not much, but slightly better, and the lower profile headband makes them feel less bulky and cumbersome once on your head. They're a lot closer in comfort to the Bose QC35-2, although they're not quite there yet, since the Bose are still a little lighter with slightly softer padding. Overall though, it's a step up from the XM2's design, which was decently comfortable for most, but doesn't feel quite as good as the XM3. As for the control scheme, the XM3 are slightly easier to use than the XM2, but functionality-wise, they're about the same. The XM3 feel a tad more responsive to swipe gestures, and the auditory beeps for feedback are a little quieter, so they don't interrupt your listening experience as much as the XM2 when turning up the volume or changing tracks. The fundamentals are still the same though, so swiping up and down controls volume, left and right swipes rewinds and skips tracks respectively, and double tapping pauses or resumes your tracks and also manages calls. On the left ear cup, you have the rest of the button layout. The XM3's buttons are slightly redesigned to be a bit more tactile and easy to differentiate by feel alone. The buttons are raised, and the ambient key is a bit longer than the power and pairing button, unlike on the XM2. The ambient mode button works the same way on both headphones, but you can switch it to trigger Google Assistant via the app on the XM3. Also, the unique cover to mute gesture on the XM3 is slightly different. Instead of covering the whole ear cup like on the XM2, you have to cover the touch-sensitive surface with an open palm. It's fairly easy to get used to, but coming from the XM2, you may have to adjust, since covering the cups with your hand will not work unless your palm is completely in contact with the touch-sensitive surface. So overall, design-wise, the XM3 are an improvement over the XM2. They're more comfortable, they look a bit better once on your head thanks to the headband redesign. They're also a bit easier to use with a slightly more responsive control scheme and raised buttons that are easy to differentiate. They do not quite match the comfort level of the Bose QC35-2, but their build quality and overall look feels sleeker and more premium. As long as they do not have any major defects with the headband, then the WH-1000XM3 are easily one of the better designed wireless over-ears that we've tested so far. Now let's compare the sound quality, isolation, and leakage with Sam.
The Sony WH-1000XM3 and the XM2 are decent sounding headphones, but both of them are a little bit too heavy in the bass and veiled in the treble, especially the WH-1000XM3, so we prefer the Bose QC35-2 since it's more neutral sounding. But before looking at their measurement results, we're going to play a recording we have done with these three headphones, so you can get an idea about how their sound compares for yourself. Just keep in mind that this is a relative comparison and not an absolute one. So it is good for seeing which headphone has more bass or treble, for example, but you won't be able to judge their actual sound profile. And if you get one of these headphones and listen to the same track that we've used here, you most likely won't hear the same thing. Here we have the frequency response of the WH-1000XM3 on the left and the XM2 on the right. These headphones have an extended and heavy bass, but the XM3 is more bass heavy by about 2 dB. This is subtle but noticeable. So the XM2 will sound a bit more balanced and neutral in the bass range, but if you like heavy bass, you may prefer the XM3. In the mid-range, the XM3 performs noticeably better and has a virtually perfect response. The XM2, on the other hand, has a dip around 900 Hz and a bump around 2 kHz, which will have a small negative effect on the balance of vocals and lead instruments. The treble performance of these two headphones is quite similar, but the XM3 is a little underemphasized, which combined with their heavy bass results in a bass-heavy and veiled sound profile. Overall, the XM2 is a little bit more neutral, but the difference is quite subtle. Also, since both of these headphones come with an app that has an EQ, you should be able to adjust their sound profile until you're happy with them. Now, if I pull up the frequency response of the Bose QC35-2 on the right, you will see that overall, it has a more balanced sound profile compared to the Sony's without compromising on the bass or treble. In terms of frequency response consistency, these three headphones seem to use their noise cancelling system as a feedback mechanism to check for their fit and seal, and because of that, their bass delivery is very consistent across multiple users and receipts, which is great. This means that regardless of the size and shape of your head, and whether you wear glasses or not, you will always get the same amount of bass with these headphones. Their treble delivery is not as consistent as their bass, but still, this is within good limits and better than most headphones. Now, for isolation and leakage, we have also recorded a comparison, which we're going to play now. First up is isolation. As you probably noticed from the recording, these three headphones have an exceptional active noise cancelling system. In fact, these are basically the best over-ear ANC headphones we have measured so far. They perform excellently in the bass, mid, and treble ranges, so they are great for reducing the low rumbling noise of airplane and bus engines, cancelling the chatter of an office, and blocking the sound of an air conditioning system. In our measurements, it seemed that the ANC system of the XM3 is nearly identical to the XM2's, but they tend to perform better and more consistently, probably because of their improved headband and ear pads. The ANC of the Bose is basically on par with the other two, so we recommend that you make your choice based on other factors like their sound quality and comfort. Now let's listen to the Leakage recording. In terms of leakage, the XM3 is a noticeable improvement over the XM2. Again, probably because of their improved headband and ear pads. With the XM3, you don't need to worry about disturbing the people around you as long as you don't blast your music and are not in a very quiet environment like a library. The XM2, and especially the QC35-2, leaked noticeably more, so you would have to be a bit more considerate with those in terms of volume. With the Bose, if you listen at a loud volume in a relatively quiet environment, it is possible for the people around you to hear what you're listening to. Now, let's go back to Mark.
And now for the active features and connection options. Latency-wise, there isn't much difference between the two headphones. With their default connection, the XM3 have about 224 milliseconds of latency, the XM2, 210. When using aptX, they perform slightly better, but not by much, so 200 milliseconds for the XM3 and about 187 milliseconds for the XM2. Both headphones are within the latency performance of typical Bluetooth headsets with no low latency codecs, so they won't be the ideal choice for watching movies and gaming, but you can always use them wired if the latency does become bothersome. As for the wireless range, here the XM3 do a little better than the XM2. The XM3 reached up to 53 feet when obstructed by walls and about 185 feet in direct line of sight. In comparison, the XM2 reached 45 feet and about 172 feet in direct line of sight. Both headphones will be suitable for most use cases and should be more than fine if you keep your phone on you, but they will also be suitable to pair to fixed sources like your PC or TV and walk around your home without any major connection drops. For the battery performance, the XM3 do slightly better overall than the XM2, especially for charge time. The XM3 lasted 27 hours on a single charge with noise cancelling enabled and at average volume levels, and the XM2 lasted about 28, so a bit longer, but both headphones were advertised to have 30 hours of battery life, which is within the ballpark of the results we got. For the XM3, there's a cool table in the operating manual that displays the estimates for total battery life based on the different features enabled. On the upside, when it comes to charge time, the XM3 does a lot better than the XM2 thanks to the USB Type-C connector on the XM3. They reach a full charge in about 2.2 hours compared to 3.6 for the XM2. This also gives them a quick charge feature of above 5 hours of playtime from a 10-15 minute charge, which is great and really convenient if you forgot to charge your headphones overnight. The XM3 also have a proper auto off feature that you can adjust via the app, which makes the battery performance much better overall. Speaking about the app, both headphones support the Sony Headphones Connect app with about the same list of features, apart from the previously mentioned auto-off timer for the XM3. Going down the list of options, both have adaptive sound that dynamically adjusts depending on the level of activity. They also have a self-optimizing noise cancelling feature, as well as different noise cancelling profiles. You also get room effects and an EQ that you can manually customize or choose from presets, as well as an in-app player and high-quality audio codec options that if you have an Android phone with Oreo installed, you can choose which high-quality codec it defaults to in the developer settings. All the way at the bottom, you have the auto-off timer that's only available on the XM3 for now, but overall, the app is feature-packed on both headphones and gives you access to a wealth of customization option, which makes the Sonys a bit more versatile than the Bose, since the app is very bare bones and doesn't provide an EQ as of yet. Lastly, for the connection option, they both have the same 5-foot 2-pin 1.8 TRS audio cable that will not have mic support for console controllers. They can also both pair easily with mobile phones thanks to NFC. However, they do not have multi-point pairing, And the XM3, as previously mentioned, has a Type-C connector, whereas the XM2 has a regular micro USB. Unfortunately, the Type-C does not provide audio or mic support when connected to a PC, unlike the Bowers & Wilkins PX, which is slightly disappointing, but not a big deal. So in the end, should you upgrade to the XM3 or stick to the XM2? Well, if you're getting your first pair, then definitely go for the XM3. They have a better design overall. They're a bit more comfortable, so you'll be able to wear them for longer than the XM2. They have a better battery performance with a customizable auto-off timer and a slightly better noise-canceling performance, but not by much. However, sound-wise, the difference may not be worth the upgrade. The XM3 sound a little bit more bass-heavy overall, but it's not a big enough difference that requires the upgrade, and they both have a pretty solid EQ, so you can further tweak them to sound just the way you like. Also, since our current test bench doesn't yet account for LDAC and aptX HD, our sound score doesn't fully tell the whole story. On the other hand, the XM2 has still very good headphones and looks slightly classier than the XM3, but they're a bit more cumbersome overall and take a lot longer to charge. Overall, the XM3 are a decent step up from the XM2, especially design-wise. They're also a lot more customizable than the Bose Quiet Comfort 35 II and feel more premium for about the same price, but the Bose are still a bit more comfortable, which some may prefer. And that's pretty much it. So are you planning to upgrade to the XM3? And if so, what has you most excited? Also, do you like that the XM3's design resembles the Bose? Or do you think they should have kept the same old headband as the XM2? Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can check out all our measurements on our website, and if you like this video, subscribe to our channel or become a contributor. Also, we're currently hiring in our offices in Montreal for various positions, so if you want to help people find the best products for their needs, have a look at our careers page on our website. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.